So I want to hide my menu dropdown to start. So that means before I get to that breakpoint, I'll just put a comment for my hamburger so I know what that is. And I could just go edit, toggle, block comment. And I'll put that in there just so I know what that is. And then I'm going to make another style here. And I'm going to do it for my class. And remember, my class needs a dot. So it's going to be menu.dropdown. And I used a dash, or menu-dropdown. And then what I'm going to do in here is something fairly simple. I'm just going to put display. And from your list, you could go down your list, and I'm going to choose none. Display none. And I'll put my semicolon. And I'll check this out. I'll go back here and check it out. And notice you don't see the menu there. It's no longer there. And it doesn't show up anywhere because I have it displayed none. Now, if I want it to display after the breakpoint, I could actually highlight this, and I'll even put some code here to basically say, hides drop down menu item. All right, what I'll do is I'll copy this code, and I'll go down. Remember, we had our media query that was at our 680 breakpoint, and I'm going to go down and I'll put it kind of after this nav left stuff here. And I don't have to put anything for my hamburger icon, but I'm going to go at the end of this nav left stuff here. I'll hit a return, and I'll just paste it. Except I don't want to hide it on this one. After the breakpoint, I want to see it. So I'll put shows drop down menu item, and I'll basically put display, and I think I can just put block. We'll see how that works. All right, and I just put in menu drop-down display block, and that should show it because it is going to show up as a block element. We'll see how it works. I think even if we put inline, that would work fine. But we'll put in block, and we'll see how that works. And I'll just go here and preview it. Remember, you don't have to save the CSS. That should update immediately. And all I have to do is just resize it, and there it is. You can see it's showing up now. Now, for the same token is showing that, I want to hide all these other ones I don't want to show. I'm going to copy this one for menu dropdown. I'll just copy this whole thing here, and I'll just copy and paste it. And this one is going to be for menu item. And we're going to make this one so that they hide these ones. So I'll do menu item and display, and you remember what we used to make it not display? We used none. So the one up here that I was looking at, display none. So we'll use display none, and display block is kind of like a show hide for CSS. So I'll go back down here and I'll put display none. And you could save it. And I'm just going to go back to my Google Chrome where it's previewing and just refresh the page. And I'll just kind of move this again, move it in, and when it gets to the 680 breakpoint, what should happen is it hides all the menu items, all the items that have a class of menu item, class of display none, which means they're not seen, and this one gets a display block that's seen. Okay, and now what we want to have happen is we want to be able to click on this and have those things show up again, but it's not showing up right now. So that's going to be our next part. So the first part of this, just to review, is we just put a couple styles in here. Just to review what we did. In our index, we didn't do any jQuery, anything like that. We just kind of added some items. In our nav left area, we added a new line item, and that was the one. It just says menu. We put a link of drop down, which just means it acts like a link. We put the word menu in there so people identify it as a menu, and we also put a hamburger icon in there in that line item. That's all we did, and it has a class of menu dropdown. All the other ones we just gave it the LIs a class of menu item so that we could identify them in CSS. So when we go into CSS, so that right here we're going to hide the menu dropdown so it doesn't show up yet, and then we also put in a float right to make the hamburger align to the right of the text on the right side of that menu line item. So that hides the menu dropdown, and then what we want to do is hide all the other ones. So then down here after our media query at 680, what we did is we displayed none for the menu items, and we displayed block for the menu dropdown. So that basically makes it display, and these basically hide the menu items because that's really what it does. So I basically have just a couple styles in here. I have two styles here, and I have two styles up before my breakpoint. And you could do that down here in this area here. So if you want to put more asterisks in here, you could throw more in here, and it'll make it stand out a little bit. So that's what we did on the first part. Now what we're going to have to do is use a little jQuery, and I'll show you what to do that for the next video. So we're okay right now, so I'll save what I have in brackets. I'll make sure I do a save, and I do a save for my index, so we're okay. So next part we're going to use some jQuery.